From online banking, to school research, to telemedicine, to simply staying in contact with family members overseas, communications, and high-speed internet in particular, has created new opportunities and efficiencies throughout the world. But for many parts of the Federated States of Micronesia, this new technology has still not reached many people. FSM's past governments did recognize, though, the importance of better connectivity to help develop and improve FSM's economy.
We were looking for ways to grow our economy, to increase GDP and employment. But we also have impediments because we don't have efficient and affordable communication. And we're fully aware that business and government services are dependent on good communication infrastructure.
FSM has had dial-up internet since 1996, but only Pohnpei received real broadband in 2010 when the state was connected to the Han-True submarine cable. This was still fairly slow though, and has now become outdated.
FSM Telecom did its business through satellite services mainly, international calls. But when the internet came, everybody wanted smartphones, the bandwidth was growing. Actually, satellite services were not sufficient enough, and on top of that, they were extremely expensive.
Phone and internet connections through much of the country still travel through old copper wire networks, some up to 30 years old. The slow speed and lack of reliability of copper and the satellite services have left many users frustrated.
Here at the school with the internet, we found that we can barely even access email sometimes. Our students cannot go online to do research in any sustainable way or efficient way in terms of time.
I use the Bank of Hawaii and Bank of Guam, but with my current Wi-Fi now, it's really slow to do a lot of things on the banking online.
I'm paying like $10,000 a year for a service we can't get. So it's really, we complain, but nothing gets done, but that's the island lifestyle.
Because sometimes when it's on and off, it hampers how much work we can do. Probably stop doing 80% of the things we're doing if internet stops.
So it's really frustrating. Services is very poor, unprofessional most of the time, you know. It's because there's no competition. We have no other choice.
When I search research papers for the essay that we're doing for ELA, we have to find sources, reliable sources, and I would find a reliable source, but then it just doesn't load, so I have to reload it and reload and reload.
I mean, imagine having something that's critical to your business, and it doesn't work, and you can't get it working until 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. And sometimes if it goes out at night, we don't even know it.
Although FSM's government recognized the need to upgrade the country's telecommunications system, money was an issue. The infrastructure to replace all existing copper networks in the 4 states to the worldwide standard, fiber optic cable, and to bring undersea fiber optic cable to FSM's other 3 states would be extremely expensive.
They don't have the money to the amount that they would need to connect all 4 states to the World Wide Web, because it would cost something like $15 to $20 million per state.
We understand that it's expensive, but we also believe that the investment would be paid off in the long run.
To finance the deployment of fiber optic cable throughout FSM, government aggressively searched for partners to assist with funding the ambitious project.
The mandate was given to TCNI and Department of Foreign Affairs to go out and try to bring in sponsors and partners that are willing to fund this project.
Funding for the project was finally found through the World Bank.
We are thankful, therefore, to the World Bank and its international donors for giving us a grant to be able to bring 3 additional connections.
The World Bank provided the money for the entire FSM connectivity project. This came in the form of a grant rather than a loan, so it did not have to be repaid. FSM and World Bank's initial investment in the so-called first mile of the project, where the internet enters FSM via submarine cables, was $45 million and will increase to $65 million after KOSRAI is connected in 2021. The investment in the middle and last mile of the project, where the internet passes through FSM and reaches the end user, will be another $15 million terrestrial fiber infrastructure investment in the years to come. An additional $15 million will be invested in the development of digital services in FSM. To facilitate the connectivity project, the government enacted the Telecom Act Amendment in 2014, which restructured FSM's telecommunication market. This amendment created special conditions to help introduce competition in the telecom market, but still enable government to maintain market control without discouraging investment.
We're deeply proud of our relationship with the World Bank as a development partner in laying the groundwork to connect the rest of the states with the fiber optics, creating the legal framework, the mechanism to introduce this to operators from outside.
Consultations between the World Bank, national government, and members of the various FSM state legislatures helped clarify both the benefits and the various responsibilities for all stakeholders of the connectivity project. Previously, FSMTC was the only telecom operator in FSM. It was a government-owned corporation, but had its own board of directors. But under the 2014 Telecom Act Amendment, a new structure was introduced, creating 2 new organizations. One responsible for the fiber optic cable network, and one responsible for creating and regulating the new competitive marketplace.
The 2 entities are independent from the government. They have their own board members that oversee their function. TCNI is just there as a catalyst at the government level to ensure that they are proceeding well.
FSM Telecommunications Cable Corporation, we are actually responsible for implementing that, but the cables are owned by the FSM, by the government of the FSM.
The Telecommunications Regulations Authority, or TRA, is the new regulator for the telecommunications market. TRA will enforce the regulations and monitor each of the telecom service providers. It ensures that the public's interests are taken into account.
We will come up with a consumer protection rules, and then all of the service providers have to comply with our rules to make sure that the users are protected. We will be monitoring those quality of service, and at the same time other indicators.
From the outside, fiber optic submarine cable looks similar to copper electrical wire, but data is sent through fiber optic cable by sending pulses of light through the fiber. Optical fiber permits data to be transmitted over much longer distances and at much higher speeds than traditional electrical cables. Optical fiber is also immune from electromagnetic interference, which often affects metal wires, causing static and interference. Because of this, optical fiber is much better for use in telecommunication networks. The first fiber optic submarine cable came to FSM in 2010. This was a spur, a branch off of the U.S. Department of Defense cable running from Guam to Kwajalein. This spur ran only to Pohnpei. In 2018, Yap was connected to another fiber optic cable from Indonesia to Guam. And then Chuuk was connected via Pohnpei with an FSM-owned cable in 2019. The remaining state, Kosrae, is scheduled to receive its submarine fiber cable connection by the end of 2021. The smaller outer islands in FSM will not be left out. Although the high cost for running submarine fiber optic cable to these islands make fiber unrealistic, other plans are being considered. Basic mobile and internet service could be provided by small, solar-powered LTE cell sites with VSAT connectivity. The connectivity project intends to connect up to 42 of FSM's outer islands, which have a population of 100 or more people. The new sections of submarine cable have been laid under a management contract with FSM Cable Corp. Using World Bank funding, the submarine cable construction was outsourced to the Japanese contractor NEC. They brought the cables ashore to beach manholes, and from there, via terrestrial fiber connection to the cable landing stations, where the fiber cables were then linked to existing networks. A key element in the connectivity project, competition, was introduced to fuel new developments in the telecom sector.
If they're competing, that's very, very good for the customers, because that's where true innovation comes in.
You know, competition is inevitable. It's going to come in, whether we like it or not. It's good for the people. We know that when there is competition, the prices are better.
I think it's a good thing to have more competitors where they can try and have a price wars, which will benefit us, the users.
There's going to be more competition, and that's a good thing for the people. It'll lower a lot of the costs for the businesses, and it'll encourage economic growth.
I think it's a good idea to have competition, because sometimes when you have monopoly, the customer service can be compromised a bit.
Competition, it improves whatever service is here. So the end result is that some business is going to be working extremely hard to give us exactly what we want at a fair price.
Despite having a population of just over 106,000 people, FSM is still an attractive market for some telecom providers.
So far we have a couple of companies show their interest. We'll process application very carefully so that we will understand the strength of not only financial but also technical strength of the applicant.
I think there is a significant potential for growth there, and I think that with the entrance of a competitor, we may see a significant growth in specifically the mobile market, but I also expect that there will be growth in the ADSL and fixed line market.
The economic development, area would be expanded tremendously. We were talking about laying actual cables to schools, to homes, and to the government, and we're excited about it.
FSM's fiber future, once fiber optic cables are deployed throughout the major islands, will open up opportunities in many different fields.
The Jesuit network of schools are all over the world, and we want to also have that ability to have access with these other schools so that we can build a better education locally.
I know a lot of the schools in many countries offer that distance education type of learning, especially with the cost of sending students off island to attend colleges. So it could be a way for people to actually gain qualifications at home.
We're also looking forward to the research component. So all of our students being able to go online and utilize the resources that are there. There are hundreds and hundreds of different science lab programs that you can actually do using the internet now. So if our science facilities cannot handle it, we can have them do a virtual digital version of that lab on the computer.
So faster Wi-Fi would mean I'm able to access like educational videos like on Khan Academy to watch math problems and how to solve them. So I think that's important. That's how I'm gonna be ready for my college.
There are some courses that we don't have the instructor or the professor, but they may have in Pohnpei. Then through that, our student can take that course online from that same instructor. And so it will be cheaper for the students, so they don't move to Pohnpei and live in the dormitory, but stay in Chuuk, yet they finish their program here.
We're now teaching a year-long programming course that we're going to carry forward into a 2-year and expand it out to multiple students. Suddenly, the students at Xavier High School, with only a semester of programming so far, are making new things and they're using the computers in more intelligent ways. I'm amazed at how tech-savvy our young Micronesian students are.
At Pohnpei State Hospital, doctors are already using a faster fiber optic network connection of 10 megabits per second to connect with remote medical specialists overseas. This higher speed enables the hospital to send larger files faster so that collaborating with remote foreign specialists can be done in real time. Diagnoses and test results are then available almost immediately.
What we do here is real-time telepathology, and whereby we prepare slides, and the slides is been viewed by the pathologist in Japan, and the results will be available after the preparation of the slides within 5 to 7 minutes.
Only 20% of our people here have insurance. We're able to bring these specialties to these 80% of the population that are not able to go abroad otherwise. So they benefit tremendously from the programs.
We handle a lot of data at the Department of Health, so I can see the speed boosting the amount of communications that we can have with the outside. This can include the partners that we have, funding organizations, and other counterparts that we have throughout the Pacific or even outside and around the world.
Learning what are the new techniques that are being approved. We have an outbreak going on and we really need help with nurses and doctors. And so this will cut down their time in getting on the plane and traveling. They can have assistance through internet and that'll be a big help.
Once FSM's fiber optic networks are fully operational and competition provides more competitive rates, the opportunities for the health sector are enormous. Higher speeds will provide health services in each state with faster remote diagnoses and access to critical information. This will likely save even more lives. Many modern businesses rely on a fast, affordable, and reliable internet service. This need will develop and grow further, fueled by the speed of fiber optic internet access. E-commerce and online financial services will help stimulate these new business ventures.
People in the commerce industry and just in general, I think, are just really excited about this fiber optic. Business in general would just boom in a lot of places where it doesn't even exist right now. Because not only would the businesses have access to that, but the customers can have access to that.
This is not just like being able to do things faster on the internet. No, this is going to open up a whole bunch of opportunities. I mean, the internet levels the playing ground, right? It can generate a whole bunch of more entrepreneurs.
Tourism is another industry that will greatly benefit from the faster internet speeds fiber will bring.
We're going to be able to send out a lot of promotional materials via the internet. We're going to be getting a much better connectivity. Boom, just a click of a finger and it's already out there. And booming more visitors to our islands is an economic plus to us because more money injected to our economy.
We're the world's greatest wreck diving destination. So we get divers from all over the world. And these people, they demand, they insist on having Wi-Fi and internet.
Everything's on the website, booking through booking.com, Expedia, all those major outfits. Information is going to be a lot more easier to get out there about our business. I think it's going to help all the businesses. It's going to open up a whole new world.
The high speeds provided by fiber will also enable state and national government to better provide services to the people of FSM.
As government, we talked about telehealth, telemedicine, education, so we can introduce expertise from hospitals, from doctors, from anyone out there to connect with our people who are working in these sectors to make sure that this is not just social, but it's business, that it can deal with health issues, education, even government, and I'm fully committed to support this process 100%.
Our mandate is to make sure that the public is well informed, educated, entertained on a daily basis. We're planning to be able to do live stream for the regular sessions, public hearings at the legislature, to enable the public to be more engaged or fully engaged in terms of not only hearing what's taking place at our their leadership meetings, but be able to see as well.
The weather is bad whereby we have no access to get through. We all just have to cross our fingers, hope that there is nothing will happen in terms of the emergency and whatnot. It is bad if we don't have a good access to our communication.
Faster, more reliable internet will provide many benefits to the people of FSM, but opening the door to better connectivity may also introduce more opportunities for risk, especially for younger girls and boys.
What the parents are concerned about, like the movies that are not good for kids, that are usually on YouTube, because that's what they also have access to, the YouTube.
I know in Yap there was a case where this guy was talking to girls who in their custom they don't wear tops, and he was like messaging them just to send selfies, and they didn't know any better because it's just their natural stuff, but it was actually like these were like underage girls.
I'm worried that they might spend most of their time on social media instead of doing homework and doing research for whatever school projects they have. Even if I control the internet that we have, they have their own SIM cards that they can do the data to go on anytime they want.
I'm afraid the kids will just be busy with this and using English language, which we don't have the proper terms we use to show our respect in our culture, and I want that our culture to continue to this younger generation.
Online bullying and shaming, as well as online banking fraud and overuse of social media, are all risks the people of FSM will have to face, just as other people face them throughout the world.
People send me friend requests, but when I accept their friend request, they would usually make some of them would be very sexual and message me and then ask me for stuff, and I would just block them right away. Our school really does a really good job about talking about internet safety, and I'm very knowledgeable and educated about that kind of stuff.
Through education and access to information, the public can learn to protect themselves and their children from these dangers.
The greatest responsibility would be on the parents to educate their children and sit down as a family to have this conversation on all the positive possibilities that come with increased internet speed, but also some of the pitfalls and the risks that come with it.
We teach our students about the dangers of the internet and how you never know who may be on the other side of a Facebook profile or a Twitter profile. We make sure that they know what is out there and they know what the next steps are if they do encounter something like that.
Access to high-speed internet is finally coming to all 4 states of FSM. With this increased speed comes an amazing number of opportunities and challenges for the people of FSM to navigate.
Better connectivity will allow us to be able to communicate a lot better.
This fiber optic connection will be very important to the future of the islands.
I think that'll be the day we've been waiting for.
I'm a mother of 8 and grandmother of 1. It basically opens up a whole new world.
It's like sky's the limit because we're opening up information flow.
It's going to really open up a lot of opportunities for economic growth.
I'm excited for the faster Wi-Fi.
We believe that is fundamental for the development of the economy of the Federated States of Micronesia.
So this is a very important undertaking for our country and our citizens. So we're excited. We're deeply excited about this opportunity.